Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Isabel Hulse, and with me tonight is the past president of the Asset Management Group, Anthony Bruno. Thank you so much for coming in tonight, Anthony.
No problem, my pleasure.
So, for those who don't know, what is AMG?
Yeah, so AMG is one of the finance organizations in the Smeal College of Business. It's a student-run paper portfolio derivatives association. So basically what that means is paper is just hypothetical money, and then derivatives is a type of tool that traders use. In the Penn State Asset Management Group, we use options and futures. AMG is comprised of 6 sectors. So you have the energy sector, the equity derivative sector, index sector, interest rate product sector, the foreign exchange sector, and then you have the metal sector. Those are comprised around 3 to 4 members, so two analysts, 1 associate. Their goal is to pretty much formulate a portfolio to beat their benchmark. So, for example, equity derivatives has the S&P 500 as their benchmark. So if that goes up 5% during the semester, their goal is to beat that 5%. They do that by pitching 4 times in the semester. They have 2 group pitches, so everyone together, so the 3 members, and then there's 2 solo pitches for the 2 analysts. It's great exposure for the younger members to pretty much practice speaking in front of the group, around 50 members, and it sets them up when they go to their internships, which you have to pitch. Just be accustomed to that. The group votes on that, and then that's pretty much how we formulate the portfolio. In order to get into AMG, you have to go through our 6-week course known as the Penn State Derivatives Association. That's where we teach about technicals, behaviorals, and markets. Teaches about professional development, networking skills. So we encourage students from all backgrounds to come to that, because no matter if you're a finance major or you're an art major, you're going to need how to go through an interview and network. So I highly recommend going out to PSDA, whether you're a finance major or not. After that, you go through an interview, and we take around 10 to 15 members per semester.
Awesome. So how did you hear about AMG?
Yeah, it's a great question. So my story is kind of unique because I'm a senior now. So when I was here, it was COVID. So online classes, there wasn't that much exposure to great organizations like AMG. I was lucky enough that one of my friends from home, from Staten Island, New York, because Joe Palermo was in AMG. He recommended I come out. During the time, the director of PSDA, his name was Chris Vaughn. He's at StoneX now. Was teaching about derivatives and all these crazy terms that completely went right over my head. But just the culture is what really struck a chord with me. The win-the-day mentality of AMG. Just having that chip on your shoulder coming from Penn State. Getting these top internships is something that I really set myself as a goal. So I went through the 6-week course, luckily did well, got into AMG, and that's when I began as an analyst in the interest rate product sector, and then was promoted to the associate of the same sector. Then I was a director of PSDA, so it was a full circle moment, same role as Chris, and then I became the president the following semester.
Awesome. So how did you know that you wanted to become president?
Yeah, it's a great question. To be honest, I really didn't when I first started. But throughout my life, I've been in a lot of leadership roles. I was a captain of my sports teams in high school, so I like being, the person that's, guiding the team. But AMG is something special, and I was proud to be a part of it, and I wanted to give back. So once I got my internship offer, I knew that I want to continue to give back. A lot of the juniors and seniors, once they get their internships, they could just, pretty much, quote unquote, leave the organization. However, I wanted to give back. I had a lot of great plans. Being on the executive board as a sophomore and junior allowed me to have some great ideas, see how it works, and once I ran for it, I luckily got it, and then it was a great decision, and it's one of my proud moments.
Yeah, definitely. So you touched on your internship. Did AMG help you get that?
Yes, definitely. I don't think I'd be sitting here if it wasn't for AMG. AMG teaches, like I mentioned, about the win-the-day mentality. A lot of these internships that we go for on Wall Street are harder statistically to get than getting into Harvard. So it's super competitive. However, we strive for high networking skills, and then the course that we teach in AMG and PSDA is definitely super tough. So during this interview process for Citigroup where I interned, I did super well because of the background I had from AMG. Without that, I don't think I would have been able to perform as well.
Awesome. That's super cool. So is AMG a Penn State organization, or does it go beyond that?
Yeah, so AMG is a Penn State only organization. We're actually, don't quote me on this exactly, but I think we're one of the only derivative clubs in the country. Mm-hmm. So like I mentioned before, going back to the last question, it's something super niche, and we could speak about that during interviews, and it makes us as Penn State candidates unique in the interview process for Wall Street banks.
Awesome. So like being president, what was a week to week like? So balancing your schoolwork and also doing AMG.
Yeah, definitely super tough, but we have meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 7, and then we also have our PSDA meetings on Mondays. So 3 days of the week I had an hour allocated, so Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I pretty much had to operate the schedule for the meetings, who was pitching, what we were going over, what lessons we were teaching, and then I also would have to typically present those lessons. So balancing it was definitely tough. It's like taking on an extra class or two, but I was so passionate about it that I kind of really didn't think about it, and it worked out well.
Do you have any like tips for anyone who is like looking to join AMG?
Yes, of course. My tip is just go out there. Penn State has a ton of great opportunities. It's such a big school. We have the largest alumni network. So once you're here, nothing's really going to be handed to you. My grandfather always said, winners make it happen, losers let it happen. So be a winner, go out there, explore some things that, find your niche, and then eventually you'll find what you want to do and you'll succeed at it. I mentioned before, AMG is not only for finance major, business majors, so come out to PSDA, you'll learn a lot about yourself as well as your networking and your professional development stuff.
Awesome. So I know that like the Penn State alumni is very big. How is the AMG alumni? Yeah,
great question. It's expanding. So when I first started, there was about 80 people that come to PSDA meetings. Last semester, there was around 300. So the alumni network is continuing to grow. We have 16 members, 16 of 16 got full-time jobs. So class of 2024, we'll have 16. And then the class of 2025 also has a ton of 100% interns. So that's expanding to grow. So I would say now we're touching around 50 to 60 alumni.
That's super awesome. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for coming in tonight and telling me about your experience with AMG. Stick around because coming up next, Shannon and Courtney will have the latest news from across the nation.